Hi everyone, I'm John C. Morley, the host of the J Moore Tech Talk Show and Inspirations for Your Life. Hey guys, good afternoon. It is John C. Morley, or good evening, depending on what part of the country you're in. I am John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur, and you are tuned into, yes, ladies and gentlemen, the J Moore Tech Talk Show. It's great to have you here with me. Thanks so much for being here, whether you're watching us live or you're watching us any other time. Thanks so much for being here. Do check out my hat, believemeachieve.com, for more of my amazing, inspiring creations just for you guys. All right, so our show is about tech turmoil, unveiling the week's top stories, innovation, and controversy. We're on, by the way, we are on series 3, in case you were wondering, and that means we are in our third year. We haven't completed the third year, but we're in our third year, and this is show number 28. All right, guys, let's get started, shall we? Let's kick it off. The first one is Airbnb faces a whistleblower claims over reducing efforts to remove extremist users despite safety commitments. This one is really a bit of a pickle, if you ask me. It's not one that you probably would expect, but it's causing a lot of issues. So in a whistleblower complaint, former Airbnb contractor Jess Hernandez alleges that the company reduced efforts to prevent users linked to extremist groups from accessing its platform. Hernandez, who worked as investigations analyst, claimed she was terminated actually after the Airbnb directed her team to reinstate users connected to the January 6, 2021 U.S. Capitol attack. According to the complaint filed with the SEC and the FTC, the Airbnb allegedly scaled back its dangerous organization's team's effectiveness throughout 2023, undermining safety measures despite public commitments. The Airbnb refuted these claims, of course, asserting ongoing efforts to enforce policies against dangerous or extremist individuals. So that's really a mess, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, a real big mess. And here's an interesting one when we think about technology. Well, you guys all probably know Al Michaels. Well, how about this? NBC uses AI to revive AI Michaels' voice for Olympics recaps on the Peacock, blending technology with traditional sports broadcasting. I'm not really crazy about this. So NBC is reintroducing sports commentator AI Michaels to the Olympics using the AI technology that I mentioned. And Michaels' voice will be recreated using AI software, offering personalized highlights from the Summer Games in Paris, drawing from extensive live coverage. The move underscores AI's growing role in media, prompting discussions about its impact on creative industries like journalism. Michaels is known for his iconic sports broadcasts, including the Miracle on Ice, expressed initial skepticism, I have to say, when this was coming about, but ultimately embraced the innovative approach. I think, it was a matter of, if he didn't embrace it, I think he might have been out of a job. So I don't think Michaels really had a choice. I think he might have been, not renewed if he didn't play well with this, because even though he's a very well-known sports announcer, they could have replaced him, and that would have been a big problem. I just wonder if he's really getting compensated for it, or if they're giving him the shaft. We'll have to see. Here's one that I really like, ladies and gentlemen. This is a really great story. 4th of July was just a few days ago, a couple weeks ago. And Ignite introduces a wireless app called Fireworks Ignition Systems with music synchronization and emergency support. This is something that, you think only the big boys have, but now anybody can have it. So I think this is really cool. And like we say, there's a safer way to set off fireworks, is what I like to say. So Ignite is a cutting-edge, reusable wireless fireworks firing system that lets you control up to 6 I-18 or I-36 modules. So for those of you that are wondering, what does that actually mean in English? Well, basically, the 18 is an 18 set module. You multiply that times 6, and you can have 108, or you can have the 36 times 6. You can have up to 216. Well, that's a lot of fireworks, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of fireworks. So this is neat because it allows you to simply use your phone or your tablet, your smart device, and it allows algorithms resulting on customer data that basically has raised some concern on it. But the thing about it is that this whole issue is that people feel that it really is going to work well. So a lot of the stories that might have come out, scaring people about, what's really going on, are not a big problem, but I feel that they, are just nervous about the fact. So the question is, basically, how many times can you reuse an igniter? Well, you can't. You can reuse the system many times for years, but you have to buy basically new igniters. So I know you're probably asking me a really good question. How much, and this is a great question, how much is, igniters, basically igniters refill is what I want to call it. So the igniter, it's basically the fireworks igniter. They're not $1. They're I think it's like $25. And so it's not a lot, but I mean, it's not free either, right? So I think this is a problem for some people. And the fact that you have to spend money, and then you have to just pair your iPhone. So it's not a big deal, right? But I think a lot of people will maybe turn this way. You know why? Because they see fireworks as being dangerous. Okay. And using Ignite fireworks, igniter system is definitely something that will, make it less dangerous because you're not right there. Basically you have your modules, you have your fireworks, you can have your shows, and then they have a thing called free shots. So basically people say you can up your game right in your backyard. Now, of course, you have to, get the fireworks. You have to get the igniter system. Okay. And you're probably wondering, well, how much does this actually cost? Well, that's a very good question. So you could buy the I-18 firing module, one module, for $199.99 plus shipping. If you want to buy the I-36, it's just going to set you back $329.99. Now, they're what they call the fused tube igniters. They have those for the fused tubes. And then they also have the clip-on igniters. So, that's pretty interesting, that they have that. And so the question you might be asking is, how much does it cost for, let's say, a 3 feet MJG igniter, the fuse tube? So an 80 pack is going to set you back $80, $79.99. So you're going to save a whole less than a penny. If you need to get the 7-foot MJG initiator fuse tube, 40 pack, it's going to cost you $1.04 per igniter. Is $41.59. If you want to use the 10-foot fuse tube 30 pack, you're going to be able to do one at $1.29. Or basically you can buy them in 2, 3. They're a little more. If you buy like 20, it's like $33.03. And then they have the 15-foot, which is $1.75 for one. And then if you buy, like, let's say you buy 20 of those, it's $1.59, $31.85. So you pay more money when it's a longer wire. So what typically happens is this. The igniter has a breakout board and what they call quick plug harnesses. So the breakout boards are a convenient, reusable solution for wiring multiple igniters to a single queue. If you're using clip igniters, you can plug up to 2 igniters into the breakout box. If you're using fuse tube igniters, you can plug up to 5 igniters into the breakout box. So pretty cool how all this works. And it's meant to be something that's easy for people to understand. You know, they have a lot of how-to videos on their website. This is ignitefiringsystems.com. They have the app update. So basically, you have the system, you install the app, you pair the module with the app if you have more than one, and they have 24/7 emergency support. I think that's pretty cool that they have 24/7 emergency support, and they have a lifetime warranty. So I got to tell you, I think that's a very, very good thing. And, you know, fireworks, of course, I'm not negating that they're not dangerous, but using an app would actually keep you further away from the actual firework. Okay. So, you know, it's something to think about. And, you know, whether you're hooking up a 12-shot cake or you're hooking up a 5 or you're hooking up a blow tube, you can do a lot of cool things. You can do things like there's a jewelry box, a smoke blaster, super stallion, land of the free, and you can set the time to when they actually go off. So that's pretty cool. So you can know how long it will take once it starts to be able to get the actual fuse to, you know, take off. So it's really pretty cool, you know, how this works. And I love that they have the breakout box. I think that's a really, really cool thing. And the fact that they're able to give you timelines and how long it's going to take for them to take off. And that's really a cool thing. So there are replacement parts, right? There's an armored case external antenna cable. There's an antenna extension cable. There's an antenna. There's a 7.4 volt lithium pro battery. There's a battery compartment door. There's a USB charge cable. There's an Ignite decal. And there's a purple Ignite shirt. Well, you don't need the purple Ignite shirt, do you? Well, maybe you do. So this is really a cool way for you to get started with fireworks. Again, I still encourage you that you want to be safe with them. And remember, some states do not allow fireworks. So do make sure that you are not doing anything illegal. That is very, very important. So the steps to this is really simple. Number one, download and install the app. You can get it on the Google Play Store, download on the Apple App Store. Step two, pair your Ignite modules, whether it's one, whether it's two. Step three, connect the igniters to the fireworks, whether that's the clip-on or whether that's the firework fuse tubes. Step four, press the button to fire. So it's almost like they say using your phone as a video game controller, but really this isn't video games. You can build your own fireworks arsenal. You can create and manage your own personal fireworks database. You can scan firework barcodes to create your own or navigate the evolving integrated product catalog. So I think there's a lot that you can do with this, and I think it hopefully will make fireworks a little safer because you're not with the firework. It's really neat because they actually have support where you can call a number 9 to 5, and then they have a 24/7 emergency support number. I think that is really great that they're doing that. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen, Ignite is based right here in the United States of America. I bet you're going to think that they came from China. Well, guess what? They're not from China. So that's really, really, you know, a pretty cool thing. And they're located right here in Gansevoort, New York. So that's pretty amazing. They have support via text call or WhatsApp. They're here via chat. You can do email, or of course you can call their 911 number, which is not 911, but it's their 911 24-hour support. So I think this is a great thing, and hopefully we're going to see more people using them, and hopefully it'll keep people safe and out of firework trouble and helping people to not have any type of casualties. All right, guys. So Google's AI expansion contributes now to 48% rise in greenhouse gases and emissions since 2019. And it's challenging the net zero goals that they supposedly put out a little while ago. This is really, you know, cause for concern. And I think a lot of people are not going to be very happy, but, you know, this is what it is. And so this, despite these challenges, Google says they're continuing to invest in clean energy sources and explore using AI to mitigate climate change impacts, such as optimizing renewable energy use, and promoting fuel-efficient routes through Google Maps. You know what I have to say to all this? I have one thing to say to all this with my hand. Talk, 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 talk. Google's just about money. They don't care about you. They don't care about me. They don't care about really the world. They're giving a facade that they care. And you might say, John, how do you know that? Well, any company that takes your personal information, okay, without your permission and sells it to people, I have a little bit of a problem with that. Google's always been a data company, but they'll exploit you in a second if it's going to make them money. That's what I've learned with them. And ladies and gentlemen, Meta faces EU, that's European Union, scrutiny over its ad model, accused of forcing users into data consent options, potentially violating competition rules. This is a very, very big problem. So Meta, the parent company of Facebook, Instagram, faces the accusation from the European Commission of violating digital competition rules with its pay or consent advertising model. The commission argues that Meta's offering of an ad-free subscription for a fee without providing an equivalent non-personalized ad option forces users to consent to data use. If confirmed, Meta could face a significant fine under the Digital Marketers Act, although Meta contends its model complies with European court rulings and intends to continue discussions with the commission. Yeah, we'll have to just see what happens with that, right, everyone? All right. And here's a cool one. OpenAI experienced a 2023 data breach compromising internal communications on AI technologies, but they said it was not consumer data. Should we really believe them? I don't know. So the reports indicate that OpenAI experienced a breach in its internal messaging systems last year, resulting in the theft of information related to the design of its AI technologies. While the breach did not compromise training data, visuals from its games, leading to the removal of the game's GitHub page, further distribution caused some issues later on. And I have to tell you that this report and everything that we know going on is a very, 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 very big problem. So we're going to have to see what's going to happen. And we're just going to have to see, what's going to go on, because this is a serious, serious problem, ladies and gentlemen, that the hackers broke in and did this. And I don't know if OpenAI is really being transparent with us, because the fact that they hadn't reported the breach for so long, that tells me right there that they're not being honest and definitely not transparent. Well, Microsoft, Microsoft settles for a $14.4 million over claims of discriminating against employees who took protective leave. This is a really an interesting one, right? That they took this over a protective leave. And you might be saying, well, John, it's not a big deal. Well, I got to tell you, it is a very, very, very big deal. Such a big deal, ladies and gentlemen, that they had to pay some money. And so when we think about things like, claims, and we think about the fact that, there was this discrimination, Microsoft is going to pay. Really, really, they are going to pay. And this is not like some small case. This is something that's going to probably take a lot of money away from them. So we'll have to see what happens. And ladies and gentlemen, how many of you have bought the Adapt shoes? Anybody have the Adapt shoes? Well, I don't have them, but the Adapt, they're called the Adapt sneakers with the app from, what was it? It was by basically Nike. So Nike has this unique pair of sneakers, and they have just announced that they're going to kill the app for its $350 self-tying sneakers. So after August 6, 2024, you won't be able to download the app that controls the Adapt BB, and it won't be getting any more updates. So in 2019, Nike got closer than ever to its dream of popularizing self-tying sneakers by releasing the Adapt BB using Bluetooth, the sneakers paired to the Adapt app that let users do things like tighten or loosen the shoes, laces, control the LED lights. Nike has announced, however, it's retiring the app on August 6th, as I said. And the reason is they didn't make any money in a year or two. So those who already bought the shoes can still use the app after August 6th. But it's expected that iOS or Android updates will eventually make the app unusable. Also, those who get a new device won't be able to download Adapt after August 6th. That sounds like a big disaster. So without the app, wearers are unable to change the color of the sneakers, LED lights. That's not a big deal. The lights will either maintain the last color scheme selected by the app or per Nike's selection. If you didn't install the app, the light will be the default color. While owners will still be able to use on-shoe buttons to turn the shoes on or off, check its batteries, adjust the laces, tightness, and save fit settings, the ability to change lighting and control by the shoes, by the mobile app, which were the big points, are going to be defunct. So again, a very disappointed reaction to many people who bought them. The Adapt BB owners have shared disappointment after learning this news, and one user claimed to own multiple pairs of shoes, called the news hyper BS, while another described it as immensely disappointing. You know, I think when a company makes a product, I don't care whether it's Nike, whether it's Cisco, whoever it is, they've all been guilty of this. And the problem I have is that they know people spent their hard-earned money on this, right? And then they decide, well, we're just going to pull the plug on it because, I don't know, we're not making money on it today. That just seems very below the belt to me. Let me know your thoughts about that. Definitely comment below. I'd love to hear from you guys. And ladies and gentlemen, Nintendo issues a takedown notice against the adult parody game Peach and the Untold Tale, enforcing the copyright over its character. This is pretty amazing that Nintendo issues this copyright takedown. And you might be saying, gee, well, they have the right to do that. Well, it's a problem. Nintendo issues the mass DMCA takedown. 379 fan-made games were forcibly removed. We all remember Super Mario Brothers, right? A total of 379 fan-made games have been removed from the gaming website and hosting services game Jolt after Nintendo of America issued a mass DMCA takedown. As reported by Torrent Freak, Nintendo of America's legal team sent DMCA notices to the offending site in December. The warning, which has been published online by Game Jolt co-founder and CEO Yaprek D. Carmine, reads, quote, certain material posted on the website located at GameJolt.com infringes trademarks owned by Nintendo. Nintendo requests that you disable public access to certain pages of the website located at GameJolt.com based on the following information that we have found. The document then goes on to list the URLs to fan-made games and projects which Nintendo says had infringed upon its trademarks. These web pages display images of Nintendo's video game characters in connection with unauthorized online games that copy the characters' music and other features of Nintendo's video games. The website at GameJolt.com generates revenue from advertising banners displayed on the site and advertisements played while users wait for the games to load. So Torrent Freak reports that many of the game's developers and fans of the offending projects have taken by surprise, although Nintendo mentions of the advertiser revenue being generated on the site's game pages makes the reasoning behind the takedowns very clear. Nintendo has asked for game pages to be taken down, but hasn't asked for any financial compensation. While most of the games affected remain entirely unplayable, some, such as the game called Five Nights at Yoshi's, has reportedly been re-uploaded with all advertisements disabled. Its creator says, quote, after looking into it, I believe the fact there was profit being earned from advertisements on the game page was the reason for the takedown of this game, among countless others. The question is, was that it, or was it more? I think it was more. Basically, this whole thing they did, which was all about, you know, the thing that what I like to call is naughty Nintendo, because these games were very adult explicit. And I think the reason that they took them down wasn't about the money. Okay. It was what they call about inappropriate use of its IP and games, its intellectual property. You know, it's funny, when we think about all this stuff, during the Nintendo's 84th annual general meeting of the shareholders, company president Shintaro Furukawa was asked how about Nintendo's deals with cases on social media where Nintendo's IP and games are used inappropriately. Quote, when the behavior poses the risk of damaging the value of its brand, that's when they respond. So while Furukawa didn't want to comment on any individual cases, he did mention how appropriate action must be taken against any behavior that undermines the Japanese company's policy to bring smile-throughs through entertainment. It will also continue to make every effort to ensure that its consumers are not made to feel uncomfortable when coming into contact with Nintendo's IP, not only in its games, but also anywhere else they come in contact with. So although no specific cases were mentioned, as I said, there was a time in 2018 when a fan creation known as the Bowsetti, a mashup of the Peach and Bowser, went viral on social media and elsewhere. Nintendo's official response at the time was no comment, and eventually the craze for the fan-made character passed. Beyond social media, Nintendo has targeted projects deemed inappropriate and potentially damaging to the value of its brand. In September 2020, it set its sights on naughty fan-made games starring Princess Peach, and more recently, it filed a DMCA against a Rhythm Heaven remix project. And just recently, it continued its crackdown on Switch piracy, filing 2 new lawsuits. So I think what they're concerned about isn't just the revenue loss. They're concerned about the brand. I mean, doing something that could be either implied, any type of adult content, sexual content, that's something that could ruin their brand. And they definitely don't want that. And I can understand that. So they don't want to get stuck in the middle of the adult content, but they just want to issue the catch-all card that says, hey, we're issuing a takedown. They don't have to say the reason. They're just saying it's to protect their brand. And that's really all they have to say. All right, guys. So with the Nintendo takedown, this is definitely a very, very big problem. But I think they're right with what they're doing. I think it's a good thing. It'd be nice if they're a little more transparent. But I get the reason why they're doing it. All right, and Ray-Ban glasses, which I happen to have right here. Not the Ray-Ban Stories, but the Ray-Ban Stories are pretty cool. They're integrating with Meta's apps for hands-free calls and messages via voice commands, enhancing their usability. So when we think about, Ray-Ban Stories, with the WhatsApp, their iPhone, Android phones, through MetaView apps and other things to manage calls and messages via voice commands directly from the glasses, it's pretty cool. The glasses can announce incoming messages and can read them aloud upon request. To connect or disconnect services, users can navigate through the MetaView app settings. Additionally, featured like messages, announcements, and readouts can be toggled on or off within the app settings, ensuring hands-free communication convenience while using the glasses. For emergency calls, users must initiate them from their connected mobile device. And it's crucial to review carrier-specific guidelines for any limitations. So I think it's definitely an interesting thing, but is Ray-Ban Stories going to be something that kicks on, or is Ray-Ban Stories a fad? I mean, we'll have to see. I mean, myself as a content creator, I haven't gone down the roadway of actually getting a pair of Ray-Ban Stories. I've been thinking about it, but I don't know if it's going to be what I think it's going to be. The interesting thing about Ray-Ban Stories is that you can have Ray-Ban Stories and you can be wearing your glasses and you could take a photo, okay? And because you take a photo, no one would know you took a photo, or you took a video just because you're wearing your glasses. So this is a very interesting thing, but I think it's going to also cause some privacy issues. And I'm sure we're going to hear a lot more on that, right? The Ray-Ban Stories and privacy. There hasn't been a court case yet. But who knows? I think as more people start using them, a lot of people that bought them don't want to use them. So I think if I'm using them for a specific case, that's great. But I don't know if I want to wear my Ray-Ban Stories every single day. If I was going to a game or was doing something. The question is, this is a really good question. Can people tell the Ray-Ban stories have a camera. Can they tell that? If you look into them in the Generation 2 for daily use, you might be wondering how much the camera is noticeable by people you might see every day or interact with. To be clear, there is an LED on when you're recording. And the problem is exactly that most people wouldn't know about the LED and just assume they are being recorded if they see the camera even with the LED off. In some YouTube videos, they don't seem very noticeable, but in some marketing materials, they do. I haven't seen them in real life yet, but I do plan on getting a pair and seeing what they're like. Discovering the fashion, the brand. It's going to be interesting to see, is this something that is going to be a fad? Are people going to use this? Is it going to cause issues at the airport? I don't know. I mean, I think this is something that is going to open up a lot of doors for people. It could cause a lot of complications because people may not want to be recorded, and it's a privacy concern. So I think if I'm going to get them and wear them, it's going to be for a specific thing. Like I'm going to do sightseeing, but not so much recording people, but maybe recording nature, things like that. I think that would be a good use of it. And then, of course, they could go right into your app. I mean, that's a really, really cool thing, right? So that's pretty cool for doing reels and stories and things like that. Well, No Place. Yeah, that's where you heard me. No Place gains popularity as customizable social app akin to the Twitter, focusing on community and personalization. So I guess it's trying to be another Twitter, isn't it? Yeah. So it's a new social app to Twitter type of style, but they claim with the vibrant customization options, it will rapidly gain popularity on the App Store. Users can post text updates to tweets and personalize their profile pages with various colors and additional details like current music preferences. And the app's appeal seems to target a lot of the younger users, embracing a community-oriented approach with innovations for diverse interests and fandoms levels. So that could be interesting, right? Well, Netflix is at it again. We know they caused some nonsense in the past, but they're out to do it again. Netflix warns users of potential service disruptions, unlike what we saw in the past, unless people upgrade to a new plan or accept advertising affecting basic plan subscriptions. So the question you might be asking is, when will the U.S. Netflix, force you to upgrade? Well, I think we're going to see it very soon. There is a new update for the Netflix app. And I think if you download that app, you're probably going to be prompted, but eventually you're probably going to have to do it anyway. I don't know. They're saying the update is required. And again, they are trying to get people to upgrade. So how much is Netflix? I think that's really, really the question. How much is Netflix? So Netflix has what they call standard with ads. You can download on 2 supported devices at a time. That's Netflix with ads. Then you have their standard version, unlimited ad-free movies, TV shows, and mobile games, watch on 2 supported devices, and you can download on 2 supported devices. You can also an option to add 1 additional extra member who doesn't live with you. Then you have premium, unlimited ad-free movies, TV shows, and movie games, watch on 4 supported devices at a time, watch in Ultra HD, download on 6 supported devices at a time, and an option to add up to 2 extra members who don't live with you. So what does this break down in cost? So the standard with ads comes to $6.99 a month. That's right. You're paying to use Netflix and have ads. Something seems very moronic about that. The standard version is $15.49. And if you add let's say, add an extra member that doesn't live with you, it's an additional $7.99. If you do the premium version, it's $22.99 a month. And if you want to add an additional member, it's again $7.99. The question is, when we talk about the price tag of $6.99, right, is the difference between let's not figure the taxes. Let's think it's $15.49. And if we look at the difference of the regular, you're talking another $8.50 a month. Okay. $8.50 a month. If you multiply that, ladies and gentlemen, times 12 months, you're talking $102 a year extra to be able to use Netflix. I don't know. I think they're going to get some pushback. We're already seeing it in the UK. UK is usually a good indication of how things are going to work here in the US. But European Union is always ahead of things, so I'm sure something's going to hit the fan sooner or later. I'm not sure when, but I just have this hunch. All right, and researchers are developing a robot with a human brain tissue showcasing advanced learning and movement capabilities. This is a big wow, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, a really, really big wow. I think it's a big issue for people to understand this, because robots with human brain tissue learning to use arms is pretty cool. And this is from the researchers from the Taizhou University and the Southern University of Science and Technology in China. They developed a robot equipped with an artificial brain made from human stem cells. They term it brain on a chip. The innovative system demonstrates capabilities such as learning basic tasks, including limb movement, obstacle avoidance, and object grasping. The brain on chip also exhibits intelligent functions that are like those to a biological brain, they say, showcasing advancements in integrated lab-grown neural tissue with robotics through a brain-computer interface. That's interesting. Let me say that again. So intelligence functions that are similar to that of a biological brain, showcasing advancements in integrating lab-grown neural tissue with robotics through a brain-computer interface. That's just like, that's pretty cool, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, really, really cool. And I have one more story for you today. So Google has finally admitted, yeah, Google doesn't admit things very often unless they're kind of having their hand held to the stove. Google reveals a significant increase in the emissions to the AI expansion, challenging sustainability efforts and climate control. So they're revealing that they know it's a problem now. Well, we knew it was a problem before. Like, what's the big deal now? Like, why is it such a big deal? The energy-intensive nature of artificial intelligence that has been exacerbated by Google's AI technologies like Gemini has raised concerns over its impact on climate targets. Despite recent reports showing a 48% increase in its emissions since 2019, as we said before, largely attributed to the energy demands of AI. And this surge in emissions challenges Google's efforts to maintain sustainability commitments and underscore the need for potential revolution in the energy practices to mitigate AI's environmental impact. I think as we talk about technology and we move forward, everyone has a question about technology, about safety, about privacy. But now a big issue has been, what do we do about our own environment? Like, what do we do about it? And how do we make sure our environment sustains? How do we make sure our environment grows and that we're actually help feeding our environment and not hurting our environment? I think that's a really big issue for a lot of people. And as we start to think about technology, we're going to be asking the question, is it safe? There are privacy issues. But then how will it affect the environment? How will it affect our ecosystem? I mean, how is that going to happen? Or are we going to run into, lots of challenges where people don't understand, and then before you know it, we're killing our environment because we're just looking to make a profit? And I think those are some hard decisions that a lot of people are going to have to make. But unfortunately, it's something that people are going to have to understand. If they don't understand that, then I feel you're going to need to be on your game. And if you're not on your game, then you're just going to find that what you're doing is you're hurting our environment. When we think about how we've progressed with technology, I mean, just look at the thing with the, the auto firing, remote firing igniter system for fireworks. We think about using AI, and I'm going to say this again. AI is a great tool. It is a tool. It is not something you should use to replace a human being. It is not something you should start from scratch on. You want to use AI to critique you, that's fine. You can do that. But AI should not ever be used to replace something or to, let's say, substitute human information. It's okay to get feedback from AI, but it should never, ever, ever be used for replacing the intelligence of a human being. I think that's a really big, big problem. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we talked about a lot of stuff here today, this Friday. We started with the Airbnb facing the whistleblower. Then we talked about NBC and the Peacock now developing an AI Michael's voice to do recaps for the Olympics. We talked about Ignite, a wireless app-controlled fireworks ignition system with music that comes with support during the day 9 to 5, and a 24/7 emergency line that you can call. Google's AI is definitely causing an issue with greenhouse gases. Meta facing EU scrutiny. Big problem. And we also talked about the OpenAI data breach that they say didn't cause any issues to the actual environment with our personal customer data. And Microsoft settling of the $14.4 million over a discrimination case with employees protected leave. Nike deciding to put their Adapt BB app to sleep forever and retire it because they've just decided they weren't making any money and it was just too costly to keep it going. Nintendo issuing that order for the takedown after the adult parody game, the Peach's Untold Tale. But we know it was more than what they claim. It wasn't the fact that people were just using the content. It was how they're using it in a way that could destroy their brand. We talked about Ray-Ban stories. And before I dive a little more, people say to me, John, how much are Ray-Ban stories? And, that's a great question. So Ray-Ban stories can be purchased lots of different places. I mean, Ray-Ban stories come in a lot of different options. But the Ray-Ban Wayfarers, which are similar to the ones I wear, they go from about $191 to $241. Then they have the ones that are round, the round smart glasses with the photo, video, and audio as well. And those are right now currently not available for sale. Then they have the X Real 2 Air glasses, which they claim are the ultimate, which is basically a competitor of theirs. And those are coming out for $449. Compatible with iPhone 15, Steam Deck, ROG, Mac, PC, Android, iOS. So I think people are looking for technology to make their life easier. People are looking to save time because we all know time is money. And people are also looking for technology to work smarter, as we said, and not harder. They're looking for technology to be their consultant, to be their guide, to be there so that, it's like their mentor. That's really the best thing. Ladies and gentlemen, I am John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. It's been an amazing privilege, pleasure, and honor to be with you this fantastic day. And I hope you will check out more of my great content at believemeachieve.com for more of my amazing, inspiring creations. I'll catch you guys next on another J Moore Tech Talk show next Friday. Or I'll catch you on one of my other shows like Inspiration to Your Life or Behind the Mic this weekend with John C. Morley, or perhaps on one of my other pieces of content. So enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and I'll catch you guys real soon. Thanks so much and be well, everyone. Take care.